So this is going to be one of the most important videos you watch. This is how to create graphs in Excel. Now, there are a lot of graphing options in Excel, and we're only going to focus on one, and this is the scatter plot, because this is the most useful. A scatter plot tells Excel that it's going to accept values of X and Y from you. It's not going to assume values of X, and it's not going to assume that things are sequential. It means that you're literally giving it a table of X, Y values, and it's going to plot those X and Y values. So what you see here is a set of trials versus time, with time being on our x-axis and trial values being on our y-axis. Now, we're going to insert the graphs by clicking the insert ribbon, doing the down, and our first option is going to be the scatter plot we want. Now, there are other scatter plot options that you may consider using depending on the data. There is the continuous plot. And what this does is it's going to fit smooth lines through all the data points. It's going to make them come together like they're curves. You don't want to use this unless you know for sure that your data is actually organized in the correct order. The one beneath it, same idea, it connects the points with lines, but they're straight lines. So this needs to be a very jagged plot. Again, majority of your plots here are just going to be generated only with the scatters. Now, there is a default option in Excel that if you just click the scatter button, it's supposed to create a graph. Now, what you see here is it didn't do anything. It does not do a very good job of this. You are much better to tell Excel what data you want to plot instead of letting it guess. So if you don't want to plot, click on the plot area, hit the delete key on your keyboard, and it'll go away. The correct thing to do in Excel, if you happen to have 4 sets of data that you know you want plotted, highlight the data, insert, scatter, and this will be a plot of your data. But let's say you only want to plot trials 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's 2 ways of doing this. Either you can create a graph using all 4, and you can right-click and do the Select Data option. Now, the Select Data option is very powerful, and this is what we're going to use for a lot of our building our graphs. You've got 3 options: Add, Edit, Remove. If you click Remove on a particular data series, it'll disappear off the graph. So now Series 1, Series 3, and Series 4 are there, but Series 2 is gone. This is going to give you the ability to add data. So let's say you delete something, but you want to add something back. If you click Add, it's going to give you a box that looks like this that asks for the series name, the X values, and the Y values. The series name, if you click this down menu, you can click a cell, so it's an active cell, and it will change as you change the title. Or if you want to, you can manually type it in. The only ones you should not be manually typing in are the X and Y values. And this is where it gets a little tricky with the plotting function. It's telling you to select a range. So if you click down, click this little box, you're going to highlight the X values manually. Close it. For the Y, it's supposed to highlight this equals bracket 1 bracket. If it doesn't do that, let's say it opens up like this, you're going to have to manually delete it. That bracket 1 is a placeholder. It's there to keep Excel from giving you an error back. But sometimes it doesn't erase it. It ends up putting this weird function into your data that just doesn't work. So delete everything that's in there and then highlight your Y values. And now if you click OK, you can see that you've got trial 2 down here, Series 1, Series 2, Series 1, Series 3, and Series 4. The edit option lets you edit an existing series. So we have Series 1 is really trial 1. We can put a trial 1 title in there now. And we could change the X values or the Y values associated with it. So this is how we can manipulate graphs. Now, a bit of advice with this function. If you do the select data, and you do remove, and you do remove, and you go, oh, I shouldn't have done that. It doesn't save any changes until you hit OK. So if you hit cancel, everything comes back. Here's the catch. If you do a lot of work on your series and you make a mistake on the last one and you need to hit cancel, it's going to erase everything. So it doesn't save any changes you make to this graph until you hit OK. So if you're going to make a lot of changes to your graph using that select data function, you need to make sure that you're doing it bit by bit. So make the change you want for one series, hit OK, go back and do it. Because it's a lot easier to correct one little mistake than have to go back and redo all your work. Now I said there's 2 ways of doing this. If we want to plot just trials 1, 3, and 4. So again, if we want to delete a graph, we just click on the edge of the area, hit delete, and it's gone. Another option is that we can create a graph with just one data series in it. So we do our insert, scatter, plot, and again we can go back to our select data and we can start adding and removing series as we see fit. So this is how you're going to get the data from numbers into a graph. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to make these graphs actually look pretty and how to make them work pretty well. And it'll give you a little bit of pro tips when it comes to actually formatting your data for graphics.